Schwarzenegger, Rachel Ticotin, Sharon Stone, Ronnie Cox and his dodgy arms, and Michael Ironside. This is one of the best sci-fi action movies of the 1990s. This is going to be an absolute belter. This is one of the best films of the 1990s period. I don't care what anybody else says. Hail chat, hello everybody in there. With me tonight is Melvin Deeply. Hello, Melvin Deeply. How are we?
Yeah, I just doxed myself with that. That's my family secret.
Really?
Yeah,
You're Dutch.
my real name is Cohagen. It's like it's
So when somebody says, are we going Dutch, you take it personally.
I kind of adopted that from Blazing Saddles. You know, the family secret. My grandmother is Dutch.
Yeah, we're going to have to do Blazing Saddles, perhaps towards Christmas. In fact, I've got a big plan for December. I'll tell you in private, but if you're into Trek, it's going to be one of those sort of like pre-Christmas treats. Everyone deserves a treat towards Christmas.
Are you going to go through the series? Are you the film series that is, not the TV series, which would take quite a while?
The plan is, I'm going to go through pretty much like all the best of the early TOS movies, and then a couple of the next gen ones. Do you know, I made a lovely big batch of notes, and they've all disappeared. That's nice. Hang on, here we go. They're all here. Let me just go back and just copy all these. Oh, it's going to be one of those shows. It's going to be one of those shows. But, you know, you've got to have one of those shows every now and again, haven't you?
It keeps you in your place.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. We know that's not true about me, but I mean, it might be true of you.
Well, it's par for the course. Hello to Franco Walker in the chat, Destron Solar, Titus and Unschuff, Gavin Blackburn, Paul Dickinson. Hello, mate. How are you? Evening all. Get your ass to Mars, he says. Destron says the best Arnold film, in my opinion. And Rodent says, you guys are covering literally my top 10 favourite movies at the moment. Well, you know, we try and dress to impress here. It's all good, isn't it? Gavin Blackburn says, Trek. I like Trek. Hey, I love Trek. So hopefully we'll get to it a little bit later on. I've got a plan, you see, right? So we'll do that. We'll enact it. Hello to everybody who's watching on YouTube and also on that other thing. Is it called Rumble? Yeah, of course it's called Rumble. You know it is. I'm just messing with you. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Yes, we're doing 1990s brilliant film, Total Recall. I went to the pictures to see this, and I was only 16 at the time. I had to sneak in. It had a budget of between $48 and $80 million. That's a bit ambiguous. But it made $261.4 million back at the box office, directed by one of my favourite all-time directors, Paul Verhoeven. He's Dutch too. That's probably why we've got so many Dutch references in this movie. The screenplay was originally by Ronald Shusett, Dan O'Bannon, and Gary Goldman. Now, if you don't know, Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon were the guys behind Alien. In fact, when Ronald Shusett and Dan O'Bannon first started working on the screenplay for this movie back in the 70s, they realized that the movie would probably be too expensive and difficult to make by the standards of special effects and budget available at the time. They delayed working on the story and instead worked on an idea O'Bannon had about a space monster terrorizing a spaceship crew, which later became Alien in 1979. Oh, great movie that. We haven't done that yet. Alien's a bit of a sticky wicket for me because it's I don't know, everybody raves about it, but I'm not particularly over the moon about it. What were your first memories of this movie, Melv?
Total Recall.
Yeah.
I seen this at the Forge in Parkhead back when it first came out. And,
did you have popcorn?
I didn't. I don't bother with the popcorn. I'm a normal person. I eat real food.
Well, back in the day when I went to watch this movie, they still sold treats at the concession stand. So I had a bag of treats and a can of Quattro because they didn't have any top deck.
I probably would have had, if I know me of back then, it would have been one of the huge bags of minstrels and Coke.
Oh, yeah. I love minstrels, especially when you go to the cinema. Let's just have
They
a
taste
few.
better in there. They just taste
Yeah.
better.
Paul Dickinson says, sorry to the Marble Arch Odeon, then the biggest screen in the country. It was awesome. You jammy bugger. Rodent says, if it were made in the 70s, it'd have gone into bit Logan's level aesthetic. Yes. Oh, yes. That is so true. I agree with that statement 100%. I was just thinking along, because we're doing, no, we're not doing They Live. Somebody's been messing. Anyway, chat, we're doing Total Recall, not They Live. Do you like this film? Get to the comments. Get chatting. Tell us what you think about this film. Did you see that really bad video I put on X?
Was that the one you put in the group?
Mm.
Wasn't that real though? Didn't that happen?
Well, it sort of did, but I messed around with it. And if you remember the days when we used to appear on a different channel, I used to do that. And the line is wrong, but I thought, it is so funny because it's wrong. I'll keep doing it. Because you got to, haven't you?
When his voice here, because recently there's been, well, I've been seeing them anyway, more people doing Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonations,
Mm.
of the noises he makes.
Yeah.
And he makes the exact noise when he falls down the side of the mountain, at the
Yeah.
start in the dream sequence when he smashes the glass on his helmet.
It's like a, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
That's
exactly
the
that.
one.
He's like, yeah, he's really good at impersonating himself.
He is, isn't he? And notable appearances in this film, before we start with the slides. Members of this cast who also starred in Star Trek. You've got Robert Picardo, who was the Doctor in Voyager. He's the face and voice of Johnny Cab. You've also got Mark Alamo, who was Gulger Cat in DS9. He was in loads of other episodes. He even played a different Cardassian in The Next Gen. You've got Lycia Naff, the lady with the three appendages, with the three chestnuts, Melv.
I never noticed her. Who's that one?
No,
I
all
don't
right.
think I've seen anything like that in the film. I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. She was Ensign Sonia Gomez in The Next Gen. She appeared in a few episodes. She was going to be like the latest edition of the posse, but it didn't work out. You've also got Roy Brocksmith, who is the guy who wants to bring Doug back out of the fantasy. And he played Cerna Kohlrami in The Next Gen. He had a game of Stratagema against Mr. Data, beat him, and then Mr. Data came back and whooped his ass, basically. And you've got Mel Johnson Jr., who's Benny. Hey, Benny's the name. I've got 10 kids to feed. He played Brocker in DS9. He was the sort of third in command at the Cardassian High Command. There we
So
go. Anarchism's out of the way. Let's get on with the
all the cast
slides.
in here was done in Los Angeles then.
Pretty much.
All of it.
Yeah. That's pretty much the crux of the argument there. If you're lingering around in the chat, say hello, right? And give you a shout out a little bit later on. We'll get through this batch of slides. Hello, Minimum. Thank you for dropping in. And we opened up with this establishing shot of two people on a sort of top of a ledge on the Martian surface. A man and a woman. Who could it be? It's Arnie. He slips because he's an Austrian oak. And he drops down the side of this cliff, bangs his helmet. There's nothing worse than banging your helmet, is there, Melv?
Well, I could tell you a story about that, but I won't.
Okay. So he has this dream. It's like a reoccurring nightmare. But he wakes up and he's all covered in sweat and he's all beefy. And look who's next to him. It's Laurie, his wife, played by Sharon Stone. Come on, do
Peak,
it.
peak Sharon Stone. She was so good looking in this.
Yeah, she's gone severely downhill over the last few years, but, age
She's
catches up with us all, I guess.
70, ain't she?
Yeah, she'll be about that. Yeah, pretty much. If you're in the chat or watching this on the rerub, do comment down below about Total Recall. Is it one of your favourite movies? Is it just a great movie, or is it a bit more for you? So anyway, Laurie tries to console him, and she gives him a bit of slap and pickle for breakfast. And then he starts watching TV because we don't have flat screens in the future. You have wall tellies. How cool is that?
Yeah, but that's probably going to be a thing soon. That was like a good
Yeah.
catch because the flat screens are so cheap these days.
Art imitating life.
Hmm.
So anyway,
Uh,
he's watching the news and it's about Mars, and he's trying to convince Laurie that, maybe we should go to Mars. Come on, let's do it. And she starts getting the hump on. And he's on his way to work and he sees an advert on the subway train. And it's for Recall Incorporated, where you don't have to settle for crappy memories or go out there and risk your life in a shuttle on the trip to Mars. You can get a memory implant that's better than the real thing. So he's talking to his mate Harry from work.
it's his. This is brother Vito or cousin Vito from Die Hard 2, right?
Yeah, exactly. And if you notice in the in this scene, everybody else is wearing ear defenders and goggles and everything else, and these are the only two people who aren't.
Yeah, you know something because I've done this kind of job, and it's like I seen that and I thought, oh man, these guys are getting fired. You
Yeah.
know, you'd have goggles, you'd have a mask on for the dust, you'd have
Everything. You'd
ear
have your
protection
PPE, wouldn't you? Part of the job.
and a big pair of steel boots.
He doesn't need them.
But you probably wouldn't be down the hole at the same time the digger is in there either.
No, I think that'd be really bad for your health, wouldn't it? So anyway, he ends up going to Recall, and this is Bob. He's like the salesman, and he's trying to pitch some stuff, and he says, What's the one thing about you when you go on holiday? What's always the same?" And Annie goes, "I give up." Dead easy, don't even think about it. He's an Austrian oak after all. He's not really the brainiest of guys. And he sells him the ego trip, and he decides to go for it.
That salesman there, he reminded me of Dwight Schultz at the A Team.
He did, didn't he? I thought that at the time. He
Like,
got that sort of like, whether it was the hair or what, I don't know.
yeah, somewhere between Dwight Schultz and what's his name, Max Headroom, Matt Frewer.
Yeah, Matt Frewer.
It's like if
Hey,
they,
Z3PO's in the chat. I thought you were supposed to be joining us tonight along with Vex. If you want to pop in, Z, you're more than welcome to.
yeah, it's never
Sorry
too
about that,
late.
Melv. I cut you off there. I'm sorry, mate.
No, you're all right. I was just saying if Dwight Schultz and Matt Frewer had a kid that would look like him.
Yeah. Both very good character actors.
Very underrated. Dwight Schultz, kind of he just got stuck in TV roles, didn't he? But Matt Frewer, he's actually, yeah. I mean, do you remember that Steven Spielberg's Taken?
Yes, he was in that, wasn't he?
He was great in that, and he also done a decent job of Sherlock Holmes. I think he made 3 or 4 Sherlock Holmes movies.
Yeah. He was
Low
in
budget stuff, but
he was in
he was.
Eureka as well, if you remember that show. And he was also in blooming heck, what's it called? Altered Carbon. And he played a great character in that with prosthetics as well. Finally, didn't you get the memo, Z? Or did you not get your ass to Mars?
Well, I didn't think it was for another 2 weeks.
No, it's
2
tonight.
weeks. 2 weeks.
It's definitely tonight.
Yeah, sorry, I'm late.
It's all right. Wait till I see Vex. I'm going to give her a bollocking. I'm going to give her a bollocking, a really big one. So anyway, it all goes a bit pear-shaped, and he starts having a schizoid embolism. He's picked his mental holiday, and it's he kind of blown his memory cap. But this is where you start questioning the reality of this film. Is it all a part of the package is being sold, or is it really happening? There's a duality. There's 2 layers to this film. Is it real? Is it live, or is it Memorex?
But there's another part as well.
Go on.
That at which point, just say for example, it is implanted memories, right?
Mm.
At which point would the implanted memories become what we see? Could it be that the implanted memories are actually from the beginning of the film?
Well,
In order
Well,
for him to believe it,
I think it's a
because
bit different than that. I think the entire movie is a memory. So
could
not
well
from,
be.
an
including
implanted
his,
memory.
yeah, an implanted memory. The time he goes to recall is part of his
Yeah,
package.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
What do you mean by
From the beginning
package?
of the movie, like even the dream
Exactly.
sequence at the start was
Yep.
implanted.
It was. Everything is a memory. That's how I view it. I mean, Verhoeven's left it open and says you can interpret it any way you want to. But I think the evidence leans heavily on the entire thing being an implanted memory.
It could well be.
There's another argument, which was not Brian's argument, as that it's not really that deep, which is a reasonable argument for an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. But I don't know. I can't decide. I think if the decision's down to me, I can't decide if he's stuck in the dream or not. I've been bouncing this around my head for the last few days, and I just can't make my mind up because there's pointers both ways.
You know, it is open to interpretation. I think you can come away with this, and you know, it's like a salad bar. You can pick what you want that suits your own reality, if you will, to use that as a pun.
That's how most people deal with actual reality, anyway. They pick the
Yeah.
bits that they want.
Yeah. Interesting point here from Gavin Blackburn. The wall screens are copied from Spaceballs.
There's bits in this film, like the aliens on Mars and things like that, is from the Zach McCracken and the Alien Mindbenders video game,
Yeah.
which came out a couple of years before this.
Yeah. Hello to MC. Thank you for joining us tonight. Destron says, for the memories of a lifetime.
See, if this was real, I would do it, would you?
It depends on the scenario, really. I'd want to see what they've got. You know, maybe something a bit more variety.
2 weeks on Ricer.
Well, yeah, it's like I wouldn't necessarily take the trip to Mars, but as the amount of things that I've wanted to do and not been able to do, if they could virtually implant them, then yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, they could do a lot in this particular universe. I don't know. I would want to, you know, all expenses, 2 weeks, Skeg Vegas, you know, no chavs, fish and chips when I wanted. So anyway, after things go pear-shaped, they try and put things back together in Quaid's head. And he wakes up in a Johnny cab. How did I get here? The door
Please state the
opened.
nature of the medical emergency.
Yeah. The door opened and you got in.
There's other questions we have to ask here, like Johnny Cab there. What were they thinking? It's like, we want it to be friendly. We want people to get in the cab. And then they put in the creepiest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's like Norman Bates.
Yeah, and it's based on Robert Picardo's actual face. You can't tell, can you, for a moment? I don't know. Who would you trust more, Johnny Cab or the cowboy?
I don't know.
It's a tough
Probably
one.
the cowboy. This guy looks proper creepy.
Yeah.
Outlook, Josie Wales, what a flick. Although sounded more like the bloke from, hey, look, it's Harry from Verk.
It looks like an AI rendering of Robert Picardo.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. That's a good shout, Z. I like that. So anyway, this is Harry from Verk. You blabbed, Quaid. You blabbed about Mars. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I could have done a lot better with that video, but that video I stuck on X and in the group chat. That took me ages to do and get it right. I had to line up the actual soundtrack with the soundtrack in the film so I could edit all the choice bits out and then put bits back in and keep all the sound effects. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed doing that. I'm getting quite addicted to video editing. Anyway.
Well, makes a change from crack cocaine, I suppose.
I don't know. I never had that. I usually, you know, have a bottle of Iron Brew Extra. That's my drug of choice, I'm afraid.
What's extra in it?
The fact that it's got twice as much artificial sweetener in it, that'll probably bump you off twice as quicker.
Yeah, I'm sure that's worse for you than the sugar is.
I don't know. I'm on a diet. This is a good one from Destrom. Harry from Work. Harry from Verk. I'm going to keep doing that, and it's going to get annoying. I do apologise. Harry from Verk is a discount Danny DeVito. Dollar store Danny DeVito. That would have been better. I like that. I like your thinking, son. So Harry from Verk is a part of the agency. Or no, actually, he's not a part of the agency. He's a part of the resistance, isn't he? Hello, Atom Gray. Thanks for joining us.
No, he's one of Richter's men, one of Michael Ironside's people.
Ah, so he works for the agency then.
Yeah.
So anyway, he goes to sort out Quaid, but Quaid gets the upper hand and takes these guys out. And, we come to our first blooper. Does anybody know what the blooper is in this part of the film?
No.
Right. Quaid's hands are covered in blood. He fishes around with the door handle, rubs his hand all the way up the wall, turns the light switch on, grabs hold of Laurie's arm, and there's not a trace of blood on anybody else apart from Quaid's hands.
I noticed when he shows her his hands and they're drenched. But I'm thinking all the way home he never wiped his hands or anything,
Yeah, he could have wiped them on the inside of his coat.
Yeah, or in his pockets, or on on the side of his jeans or something. I don't know. I just thought it's very, very strange. He made it home and all the blood's still there and it's still wet.
Yeah. So anyway, Laurie goes to make a call, and we're introduced to Richter. We're not quite sure what his role is at this point, but he looks dead freaky. I don't know whether it's the light on his eyes or what, but he looks like a Clint Howard, jail version of Clint Howard.
He looks like a replicant.
Yeah, it's like the sparkly mirror eyes.
Well, Sharon Stone looking quite tasty in this scene.
She was so good looking in this. She was the
She looks so tasty in every scene she's in this movie.
Do you know what she looks like in this film? That she's sleazy and demure. What's demure? I'm not sure what that is.
Demure, that's Bruce Willis's wife.
Yeah. So anyway, Laurie tries to take out Quaid. Another blooper here. She slashes him across the belly with a knife. You go back to the shot, there isn't a trace of a cut on his shirt or any blood.
He's got John Wick's shirt on.
And another bit I like in a bit of his dialogue that he screws up royally, right? She says, this were a good assignment. You could tie me up if you want. He goes, I didn't know you was a kinky. I love it. It says like just, oh dear. And then he lays her out.
But here's the thing, right? It's like the men are coming up the stairs and she's like, you can tie me up and we can do nasty things. And I'd be like,
I've got a few minutes, yeah.
Don't worry, baby. I can do it 3 times in the space of those guys getting to the door.
I mean, you've got to admit that Richter and Cohagen have gone to a lot of effort to keep him hidden.
Yeah.
Cohagen has. I think Richter would rather have just killed him.
Yeah. Richter's not even in on the joke. Richter's trying to... we should have killed him on Mars. So is there an underlying rivalry when he was Hauser?
Yeah, maybe a kind of Richter wanting to be top henchman.
Maybe Hauser was Cohagen's bosom buddy. Maybe they were chums.
Maybe Sharon Stone had the hots for him, and when Cohagen went, we need somebody to look after him. And me, I'll do it.
You've got a choice here, Austrian oak or Canadian poke.
Oak. Do it.
Michael Ironside, come on, do it. Do it now, come on. Thrill me.
Imagine how much worse it could have been, because obviously that idea is they implanted the memory of Sharon Stone being his wife. Imagine if they'd used the little 2-foot-high hooker instead.
Thumbelina.
Yeah.
You wake up one day and that's your wife.
Played by Debbie Lee Carrington, who sadly passed away.
Oh, I better stop talking ill of the dead then.
Yeah.
Better than die.
Speaking of death, Gavin Blackburn says, death by Snoo Snoo. And we have a super chat. Destron Solar, 5 GB pounds. Sharon Stone in this film, the Nutcracker. Literally. Thank you for that, Destron. That's very, very kind of you.
I don't think I'm speaking just for myself here. You just don't see women as good looking as Sharon Stone in films anymore.
You don't.
Sydney Sweeney.
She's not in this league.
The thing is, they all seem to be like either androgynous or really biffer dykes, not biffy dykes. They all, you know what I mean? You look at them and think, yeah, they're licking the lid of life.
Everybody's
women
a derivative of Vasquez.
Yeah, women today aren't like the women of yesterday.
And what a fucking shame.
Because the women today have penises and beards. And
Let's not go down that route. We've already done Transformers the movie. I don't want to revisit it. Thank you very much. So anyway, interesting point here. One of the henchmen, Richter's henchmen, comes in to check if Laurie's okay, right? And Richter just comes in and just knees him the chuff out the way. Okay. Quiet in the room. I didn't ask. But anyway, Quaid's got a tracker up his nose. How the bloody hell? How the bloody hell did they even get that in there?
I keep everything up my nose. It's just a safety. It's a good, safe place to hide things.
Noses are like women's purses. You open them up, they're like TARDISes inside. You can fit loads of stuff in there. I've got 20 Rothmans from 1986.
When I was a wee boy, it was always crayons.
Lambert and Butler. How did they even get it in there?
Well, the tracker's only a little tiny thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but it comes out on a fucking clown nose thing, doesn't it? Like a red ping pong.
Yeah, it would have been a lot more sensible if it was on the end of one of those. You know, those little magnetic telescopic things. You should have just put one of those up there, pulled it right out.
Minimum says Biffidite. What's that? No, you don't want to know. So Quaid is in the underground, and then we goes through like a scanner.
And this is one of the first times that the human anatomy has been shown in CGI.
Really?
It is, yes.
Interesting, Quaid. I like that. And it looked a bit janky in places, but for the time it was like, wow.
For the time, it was state of the art.
Yeah. I mean, it was like Owen Wilson level. Wow.
Wow.
A cock nose. Oh, I wish these scenes had stopped chuffing about. So anyway, he jumps through it, and it goes, makes this really cool sound effect. I like that. So that guy there picked the wrong day to go out with his bagpipe.
That's Prince William, isn't it?
It looks a bit like him, yeah. And look at that guy. I never noticed how cool his tash was.
And there, if you look over Arnold Schwarzenegger's, what would it be, his left shoulder, you've got skinny Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, a young version of. Anybody else sporting a mustache at the moment?
What, right now?
Yeah.
I have a beard.
I've got to listen. I've got a little Magnum tash. I love it.
And when I mean beard, I mean, you know, a male beard on my face, not a wife to hide my secret.
Is it like a fastidious beard? Is it one you can grab and pull down to a point? Is it like a biker beard, or is it like a Roger Whittaker beard?
It's I haven't shaved in 2 weeks beard.
Yeah. See, that's the only kind of beard that's acceptable. See somebody that deliberately cultivates a beard. Yeah.
You know, those morons who buy oil and stuff, they're not right in the head.
And then they trim it and make it go little shapes and things.
Yeah. Beard wax. What the hell?
Yeah, why don't you just, like, I don't know, you could use, like, margarine or something and save yourself a load of money. So anyway, up the escalator is Richter's henchman. And they're shooting away at Quaid. He grabs hold of that poor chap with a backpack on. And we're coming up to another blooper. So he takes out those guys, and they drop. And just before this slide here, Quaid throws that guy with the backpack onto Richter and Helm. And they haven't got a trace of blood on them at all. Anybody else notice that?
No.
Huh?
Modern cloth.
Yeah, but look at that. Richter's not got a trace of blood on him, and he had that bloke chucked on him. So Arnie's missed the train, knocks the window through with the butt of his gun, jumps in, Richter tries shooting him, and has a bit of a temper tantrum, doesn't he, on the platform. And I love this bit. What the fuck is going on down there? Helm gets him back on the scanner, and Richter starts twiddling his knobs and says, I've got sunspots.
So who is this guy here on the screen? Because I recognise him.
He's just some randomer.
Was he one of the John Connors in one of the Terminator films where they had a kind of a think forward scene?
I don't know.
Or am I making that up?
I'd have to IMDb it, and I wouldn't like to do that right now.
He just looks really familiar. He looks really familiar.
Don't screw with Dick Jones, says Sword in the Storm. Dick Jones, I like it. Rodent says, like the Back to the Future jacket that self-dried itself. Somebody else mentioned that further along in the chat as well. Hello to Wirren of Bly in the chat. Thank you to joining us. Oh, hello. Vex is alive. Vex, you're supposed to be on here tonight, or did you forget? Link in the group chat, please. Bloke from Chips apparently says Manumnum. Looks like Michael Landon, says Gavin Blackburn. It does a little bit. So anyway, he's got a box of tricks for Arnie. Apparently they were buddies in the service on Mars. And he's got this bag. It's got loads of cool tricks in, which we'll discover later. Some old granny tries pinching it. It goes, please, that's my bag. And she's like, fuck you, asshole. So he gets in a Johnny cab and he can't drive it for shit and it's spinning around. And he's like going, drive. Can you state the address, please? Come on. Shit. I'm sorry, could you repeat that? There's some great lines of dialogue in this film.
He should have just gave it an address. He must have used a Johnny cab before.
Oh, it's all right, Vex. Vex says she forgot all about it and she's busy editing, so... Okay, well, I'll let you off this time. It's Boys Club tonight, guys. Beer and pizza after. And this is amazing. Richter and Helm shoot the shit out of that Johnny cab. And Quaid has got nowhere to duck, and the doors on the thing look about tinfoil thick. And he comes out without a scratch. So he goes to an old concrete plant. And Johnny Cab says, that'll be 18 credits, please.
It's really worrisome because he says, screw you, dickhead, and then walks off. So if you don't pay your fare, do these cabs try and run you down and then explode?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
You wouldn't be rating him on Uber very much, would you?
You wouldn't.
Not that I've ever caught
1 star,
Uber.
driver tried to kill me.
Yeah.
tough time to be alive, I reckon.
The economics of the future are sadly worse than ours now. So anyway, he opens up this briefcase inside his box of tricks. Hello, stranger. And he has a conversation with himself. You are not you. You are me. And then he sticks this thing up his nose, pulls that bug out, which gives Helm a really good pinpoint on his location. But he sticks it in a Mars bar and chucks it to some rats. So all the bad guys turn up to dispatch him. That rat's got his tracker in a Mars bar. And he shoots about and it causes a malfunction on that recorder thing. And it's going, get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Somebody in the chat says, oh, it's you, Destron. Like how the henchman has 90s glasses on. No, 1983 called. They want the jam jar bottoms back. They're proper Coke bottles, aren't they? You got jam jar bottoms. So then we end up on Mars.
That's one of the things I love about this movie. You can definitely see where all the money's gone on the sets, the costumes, the miniatures, the matte paintings. It's all quite fabulous.
Yeah, but look at these two guys in the foreground working away.
Yeah, it reminds me of Dave Lister painting Red Dwarf.
A little bit. I think that's the colourway. That's what's giving it away. But like you say, I mean, it's got a Jerry Goldsmith score, for goodness sake. While I was
atmospheric with the brass and synths.
Yeah. While I was researching stuff for the show, I listened to the soundtrack. It's available on YouTube. You know, you can just listen to it. And it's really good. If you hear it in depth, you like go, crikey, this soundtrack was a little bit wasted on this film in places. Anybody have thoughts on the soundtrack? Anybody mull it over?
Oh no, it's quite beautiful. This landing sequence, the what they're playing there, as it's landing, it's something that you would expect from a film a lot bigger than this.
Well, there were no bigger films than this at the time, though.
Oh no, and a great film it is too.
Yeah, and I like the effect as well when that shuttle comes into land. The convection and everything coming off the engines, it distorts the atmosphere perfectly. And it even has an updraft on itself. When it starts landing, you see the heat sort of reflecting back off the landing pad, which is scientifically correct. I don't know who the science advisor was on this film.
I thought that was a really nice shot, but I also thought that they overdone the red a bit for Mars.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, you can be hyperbolous if it's in a dream. Colours may be a bit more vivid.
Yeah,
the mileage may
that could
vary.
That could be evidence towards it all being an implanted memory.
Too right.
I think
So here
it's
we
great
go.
that in the distant future we're still using paper passports.
Yeah.
Uh,
What happened
check-in
to all these
points.
digital IDs Bill Gates is wanking over all the time?
Yeah, this can't be real though, because I mean, what year is this set in?
Is it 2153?
Yeah, the human race is still alive, so I mean,
Actually, no, I might be wrong on that because didn't they have a spin-off which was Total Recall 2077?
Yeah, this is set in 2084.
Oh, it's 2084 then. There we go. Well, it's still something to look forward to.
yeah, no, we're not still going to be around then. We'll have bumped us off by then, surely.
Oh, don't be so pessimistic. So anyway, this is Mark Alamo in the Red Beret. Red Beret! And if you don't know who that is, it's Golgi Cat from
Cat.
DS9.
Yeah.
Is it? I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I said that about 10 minutes ago before Z got a foot up his arse. So anyway, there's
All right,
Chunky
we
Chick.
missed something here. We missed something important here. We've
Go on.
gone too far. You must have not had the slide.
No.
When he's on the train.
We haven't got... Oh, no, we haven't got that far, I don't think.
When he
No,
first lands on Mars and he's on the train. Is that
No,
still
that's yet to come. That's yet to come.
all right, okay.
I think you're going to mention a certain chap who's always been sort of attached to Michael Ironside.
Yes.
A certain Michael Jones. Okay.
Yes, that would be the fellow.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Anyway, there's a big thing up on the wall that says Quarto lives, and they say, and that the captain there says, the Martians love him. They think he's fucking George Washington. I just love that. There's some fantastic dialogue in there. So we go back to Chunky Chick and slightly Polish-looking guy, and he's like, "You brought any fruit and veg with you, love? And how long are you planning on staying?" 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Is that Alison Moyet?
Oh, you mean bastard.
See what I did there?
Yeah. Yeah. 2 weeks. So it turns out it's not a fat chick, it's Arnie in disguise.
I thought this was a good effect.
It's brilliant. It's Rob Bottin at his finest. And
to say that's on a fucking forklift as well, because it was that heavy.
It was so heavy, they had to lift it with a forklift. That's amazing.
I've heard a lot of people complain about this. You can see it's not real. Of course you can see it's not real because of the time, but it's pretty realistic. It's pretty good.
Arnie's face kind of looks like a prosthetic too.
Yeah. I mean, look at the hair there as well. I mean, that is really good.
I wonder if that is a prosthetic head, because those fingers do not look like Arnold's.
Yes, the real one is. I've seen it. It's they're on sliders that come out, so it is a practical mask. The only thing that bothered me about this scene is when he touches the side of the head to release it, and this great big thing comes out the side of him. I'm just wondering, is that going through his neck or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bit implausible, really. Well, I suppose it adds to the hyperbolous nature. Is it a dream? Is it fantasy? Is it real life? Anyway, he chucks it at these these soldiers, Northern Bloc police, if you will. Get ready for a surprise. And it blows up on him. So he tries to make a run of it. And he doesn't do a very good job, really. He doesn't particularly get far. And then Richter is a total twat. Because all he does is start shooting at everything.
He does a lot of stupid things in this film.
He just reacts. He doesn't think.
He really hates Quaid.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine him getting into any kind of authoritative position, though, because he does a lot of stupid things. It's like he's really not got the brains for it.
Like I say, he's a soldier. He's obviously got a very strict, rigid military background. And I think he's one of those kind of people that just reacts to the situation, but doesn't necessarily put his brain in gear, especially when your oxygen privileges can be remote in like a split second. So he breaks the dome glass, decompresses the entire area. Loads of people go flying out. And here we go. And all the shutters come down. They reseal and get atmosphere. Arnie makes escape, gets on a train, and he's with Mickey Jones. Go for it, Melv.
Mickey Jones. Okay, so he played Michael Ironside's sidekick in the TV series V.
He did.
And you've probably seen his face pop up in quite a lot of things. But interestingly, he was a musician. And he was a drummer for Bob Dylan, among other things.
Really?
Drummer for Trini Lopez. And what else? I've got it here somewhere.
Gavin Blackburn makes a good point. I'll just get this one in quick. It's that
Yeah.
guy on the train who's been in everything, but you don't know his name. It's Mickey Jones.
I can't find it. I had this all wrote down, but he's got like a multitude of gold discs and things. He's a very successful musician. And even though he was a big guy, over 6 feet, but he had some heft. And eventually he died of complications from diabetes. But he made it until he was 76, which is pretty good for a guy
Good
that
old
size.
lad. Good old lad. And I'd like this. Oh, we used to work in there till they found all that alien shit. That's just a rumor, isn't it? You think so?
Yeah, I got it here. Do you remember Kenny Rogers before he was Kenny Rogers? It was Kenny Rogers in the first edition.
Right. Was he in the was he a drummer for the first edition?
No, do you remember that The Big Lebowski when he has the
Yeah.
dream sequence and you got that song? I just dropped in to see what condition my condition was in.
Mm.
That was Kenny Rogers. So that was the band,
Really?
and he used to be in that band, and he has 17 gold discs.
Bloody hell.
Mickey
The more
Jones.
you know. So anyway, on Mars, this is Velos Cohagen. He's basically he's a despot. He's a dictator. He can control anything. He can do anything on Mars, right? Because there's a mineral called turbinium, which is actually what they've been chopping out of a device inside the pyramid mines. I don't know what turbinium's actually used for, or what it could possibly be, but it gives the Northern Bloc a superiority in the war that's taking place in this universe. Interesting. So anyway, due to the message that he was given on that suitcase, he was told to go to the Hilton and show the Brubaker ID. And it turns out there's something in a safety deposit box for him. But he looks like a total noob here. He hasn't settled into this spy role very well. Not at this point, anyway. And he gets a thing that says the last resort. And it says, for a good time, ask for Melina. So can I borrow your pen there? So he borrows his pen and he writes the name Melina, and it's in the same handwriting.
It's in
Meanwhile,
the same pen.
Funny that.
Like he wrote it at that desk, put it in there, and handed it back.
Yeah. Almost like he did it 10 minutes before they filmed the scene.
Exactly.
Interesting point here. If you look very closely, Benny's actually closing the door when the bomb goes off. Whether they filmed a bit backwards. So anyway, Benny is a taxi driver, a competing taxi driver, and he becomes sort of like a unofficial chauffeur for Quaid on Mars. But we don't know his intentions just yet. But he takes off like the clappers and nearly runs about 3 people over. But that's taxi drivers in general, if you think about it. So this place, the last resort, is in a Sector G, which is colloquially known as Venusville. So this is basically the red light district of Mars. Because he says, last resort. Oh, you're getting off to a good start. And that's Benny, played by Mel Johnson Jr., who was also a Cardassian in DS9.
What's with all the Cardies?
I don't know.
Get Chief O'Brien in here. That's what I say.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe they're really all Skrulls.
So anyway, a lot of the inhabitants of Sector G are all mutated. And it's all because Cohagen used cheap domes for the early settlers of Mars. And there was no air to flush out the rays. So that solar radiation, UV radiation, basically mutated everybody. But the upshot is, even though these people look like roadkill from one side, they've all got telepathic and psychic abilities. So, you know, if you go in there and you're not quite sure that you want to reveal what you want from a space hooker on Mars, they can read your mind and give it to you, even if it involves a midget hooker. So anyway, this is Mary, played by Lycia Naff, and it's Ensign Sonia Gomez, the lady who spilt hot chocolate all over Picard's dick.
Now, are all 3 of those boobs fake?
I think so.
It's a prosthetic, yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, he chucks a load of money at the bartender, and he gets to see Melina, and she just like slaps him. This is Rachel Ticotin, who plays Melina. Melina, please, people are trying to kill me. Really? Which is weird because Rachel Ticotin wasn't in that many notable roles. This and Falling Down are the only two that sort of spring to my mind. And she's probably a very nice lady, but she hasn't aged very well.
Was she in Predator 2, or was that Maria Conchita Alonso?
Gonzalez, yeah.
Yeah.
The lady from The Running Man. There's nothing funny about the dickless moron with the battery up his ass.
He liked his Latino woman, didn't he?
He did. He had one in Predator and Running Man, and this one as well.
Yeah,
And that
at
fat
home.
guy died, didn't he? Dynamo. Come to me, my love.
Oh yeah, well, you know who he is, Dynamo?
No.
Well, this is an interesting story. That is a guy called Erland Van Lith. He was Terra in The Wanderers, the big fat baldy guy. And he only ever made 3 films, which was The Wanderers, Stir Crazy, and The Running Man. And he was a teacher at a college. He taught computers at a college, and he was an Olympic wrestler, and he was an opera singer.
And he died shortly after they made The Running Man.
He died at the age of 33, which was a shame.
I wonder what that was. Do you think steroids... What's the matter? Steroids make you deaf?
Well, I mean, a guy that size, he was huge. 6'6" he was. And
Yeah.
God knows
Bloody
what he
hell.
weighed. He was a giant of a man.
He had some right Y fronts. There were no skidders on him or anything when he got his knickers down. Do you remember? And he got shocked off in more ways than one.
As you do.
So, back at his hotel room, there's a knock on the door. And this is Dr. Edgemar from Recall, played by Roy Brocksmith. I know they said Rob. Roy Brocksmith, who was Kohlrami in The Next Gen, and he beat Data at Stratagema. If you remember that episode.
I do, yes, with the old fingers.
Oh, yeah. They're like milk suckers, aren't they?
They are. It was a bit like some sort of sex machine, but also a puzzle game at the same time.
Like a set of penis enlargers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is actually the same guy, but you know the old Dr. Seuss cartoons? Did he ever do the voices for them? Because it sounds like it. It sounds like
Probably IMDb would reveal more, but he's been in loads and loads of stuff. Rodent says he's the mortician from Arachnophobia. Yeah. It was in loads of things.
Cash, War of the Roses, Scrooged, what else? Cull. There's a classic there.
Yeah.
Cull the Conqueror.
Bill and Ted's Bogus Johnny.
Yeah. You're in a dream, Mr. Quaid. Could have fooled me, dog. And then he gets a knock at the door and it's Laurie. And they're all giving him the spiel, and he's basically trying to say he's in the chair back at Recall and he's having what's called a schizoid embolism, which sounds utterly delightful.
I have them all the time. They're fine.
Okay.
They'll do you no harm.
Yeah. So Laurie is a bit naffed off that she's had to go to Mars, and she kicks the chuff out of Quaid. But, he's being held down by 2 guys, and a guy's got a gun on his back. Well, that's a face for radio there. Somebody nicked my sauerkraut. Oh, dear. It's like somebody's in his protein shake. And this is interesting because Laurie says, oh, yeah, we've got him. Come on up. And those 2 are at the bar drinking milkshakes. They've got a glass of Crusher each. Who knew in the future Crusher would be a big thing? But Sharon Stone's really laying on the sexy there, isn't she? She's
Absolutely.
like, but just look at her face. She's like saying, spunk me.
Family show, Trevor. Family show.
I said chunk me. I'm just trying to see what it says on there, whether it's got some kind of, is it Nortel? There's obviously a bit of product placement there.
I can't see that.
Yeah.
Even
so anyway, they take Quaid to the lift, and doors open up, and it's Melina carrying a machine gun, as you do in a hotel. Have any of you done that? I'm sure you've done that loads of times in Torremolinos.
So they don't have any
around
of these...
with a machine gun.
Yeah. By the pool, take your Uzi with you. I mean, you're going to guarantee to get a place at the side of the beach or side of the pool.
Why don't they have these gun detectors here like they had on Earth?
Yeah.
Considering that they actually have terrorists here.
Oh, Jamie says in the chat, going back to Roy Brocksmith, he played the green egg in Dr. Seuss. There you go. You were spot on there. Yeah. Okay.
The green egg. I don't remember the green egg. I remember
No, I
the
don't.
star-bellied snitches.
So anyway, Melina starts shooting away at everybody. Laurie conveniently gets behind that mini bar type thing, and I've noticed there's like a clash of product placements with Pop, because there's the big C and there's also the big P. Oh, hey, I've got my first member. Crikey!
You got to start somewhere.
Thank you. ZeeThreepio became a member. Level, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
Oh, that's it now. I'm going to have to do a special bit of content now, just for you, nobody else. And thank you to everybody that's given the show a super chat lately. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you're feeling generous, supers are always appreciated. And as always, you can Ko-Fi me at ko-fi.com/TrevRetro. And everyone who helps or gives a super chat receives a producer. Well, actually, I've upped it. You get an executive producer credit at the end of the following week's show. So
What does a producer do?
Producers.
I don't know.
So Melina starts having a fight with Laurie. Oh, look at the look on Sharon Stone's face. She looks like one mean bitch.
It does. And this is just what the movie needed, right in the middle of it, a cat fight.
Yeah.
It needed to be in custard, though.
Yeah. Oh, Bisto. Or chip shop curry. Oh, man, imagine that, chip shop curry. I'd be dipping my chips. Where it gets dipped, nobody knows.
Well, there you go. That's quite
See, you can have brunette and blonde, demure and sleazy, and Duplista's crazy, soon-to-be ex-wife. But both ladies are quite athletic in these scenes.
Yeah, look at them beating the crap out of each other like they're in a lesbian relationship.
Yeah, but Doug takes a pot shot, blows a conveniently located knife out of her boot, and Laurie's about to do harm to Melina, and Doug shoots it out of her hand. And she's like, goes, Doug, honey, sweetheart, we're married. And he shoots her. And this is one of the best scenes. And it's on the next set of slides. Ah, dear. Dropping the ball tonight, guys. Dropping the ball. So Doug fires away.
Consider this a divorce.
Yeah, consider that a divorce. It's a divorce.
Divorce. Sorry, you would never see this in a movie today. Men would not be allowed to kill women. It's one of those things that Hollywood seem to have taken on board and decided to stick with it. But yeah, I love it here. He's an equal opportunities killer.
Hey, did you know Melina, the actress Rachel Ticotin, is a unique, exotic mix of ethnicities, if that's the correct word. She's half Puerto Rican and she's half Polish Jew. However that works, I don't know. But it don't look bad.
No.
And Melina says, that's your wife? What a bitch. Which was like one of the chuckle lines. But it's Richter's wife. That's Laurie Richter, Mrs. Richter. And Richter shows some humanity for the first time in this film. His eyes just convey so much loss. You know, if he was going to miss her that much, you'd think he'd like have a quick go because there's nobody about. She's probably still warm.
It's one of them kind of situations there. It's like somebody as ugly as Michael Ironside is never getting a woman that good looking again. Like Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie. That's never going to happen again. That is a
somebody in the chat said he's got quite a large weapon, 14 inches apparently. That's Richter. I can't speak for Michael Ironside. Well, Michael Ironside's always played a badass. I love it. He's got this sort of air of hard bastard about him, hasn't he? He's the bloke in the boozer you keep away from.
It's that scar on his face.
Maybe so.
It always got on the bad guy role, didn't it?
Hey, just a quickie as an aside there, Z. Now you're officially my first member. Does it give you the option to gift some memberships for now?
Oh, let's go and have a look.
If it does, feel free to spread the joy.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, what a bugger. I wonder if there's a way of me doing that. Oh, RRTNZ has given us a super chat as well. Thank you very much, sir. 2 whole New Zealand dollars. That'll get me a pot knacker. What do you reckon, Z? What flavour? Selby grill steak or
Bombay bad boy. It's got to be. All
oh?
this talk about curry sauce.
You can
Feeling
get
a bit peckish.
I
you can
forgot
get
what the flavour is. But it's
doner kebab pot noodles.
Bombay. It's Bombay something or another. I'm sure it is. It's very similar to a national brand. Our RRTNZ says in the super chat for 2 New Zealand dollars, consider that a divorce. Best cat fight in cinema. Well, Z and Mel both agree with you there. It is one of the best. Oh, this is an interesting factoid. I like this. RRTNZ also says the scar is from where he tried to drill into his head in Scanners. That is likely possible. So Helm rushes up to the end of that platform, realizes if he takes a shot at those two, he's going to crack the dome. And that's bad for everybody. But Richter, he's in a love rage. He tries taking a shot, and he almost kills Helm as well. But luckily, they escape. Benny's there, and Melina says, last resort. Hey, you people are going in circles. There's some great bits in here. So Richter and Helm start taking shots at Benny. And then they get in their own version of a Martian car, because they all look like cabs. And they start taking pot shots at Benny's cab. Melina looks like she's nodded off. That is a great slide. Arnie's head, it's firmly in the roof. And then he shoots Richter's gun out of his hand. Oh, that is low. I'm not putting that on the screen. Shame, haven't you? Coming out with stuff like that. Disgusting. So the brakes go out on Ben. Have you just seen that?
I just did, yes.
Yeah, that's just no. No. We don't do that on this show. It's a family show.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, but it's after 9 o'clock. It's after the watershed, Melv. That's how we get away with it.
Why is the watershed called the watershed? I know there's a reason.
A shed full of water, maybe? Hey, Swapper's in the chat. Thank you for joining us. Richter had to accept the fact that his missus was paid to drain the joy glory from the clients at the service of the company, and he loved her anyway. Well, you know. And interestingly enough, good point here, Sword in the Storm says, who remembers Ironside's awful showing as General Katana in Highlander 2? Yes, but the train scene was good. He hammed it up proper there.
I don't blame him for that. I blame Russell Mulcahy for that.
No, it wasn't Russell Mulcahy's fault. It wasn't his fault at all. In fact, he walked off the production of that movie.
Did he? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I've been blaming him for years.
No, it wasn't him. It was Hollywood Suits. That's why the film went the way it did. But a big fronter of the money was actually Christopher Lambert, his production company, Lambert Productions. So the taxi cab goes crashing into the last resort. Sorry, Melv. What were you going to say, mate?
Oh, go on. No, I was getting sidetracked, so don't worry about it.
It's all right. I was going to overtalk you anyway, so don't worry. I'm doing that a lot. I do apologise, guys, but I want to keep the flow going, yeah? If you don't mind. So the taxi cab crashes right through. These buildings are flimsy. They're like made out of Lego.
Yeah, it's like the entire colony on Mars is built out of drywall protected by non-bulletproof glass.
Yeah.
Bit of a design overlook, I think.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway,
they go through some back tunnels. Center parks. She's put a center parks on Mars. Don't do anything fancy to it. Just make it the same.
Yeah. So they go through some back corridors. We see the bloke who was in RoboCop, who was the head of the police SWAT team. Ding! Swapper says Lambert isn't a Pokemon. I don't know. Anyway, yeah. So there's Marshall Bell, who was later in Starship Troopers. Cohagen. Paul Verhoeven likes to reuse a lot of actors, but then again, if you find people that are good and work well with you, you're going to bring them back on future productions. Because let's see, you've got 2 other actors there in that scene who've been in RoboCop and in Starship Troopers.
A lot of directors do that. They go back to the same
Mm.
pool of actors that they've had success with. I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Cameron is an example, and Michael Biehn and
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
Michael Biehn had a falling out, though, didn't he, with James Cameron after The Abyss?
Bill Paxton as well was also in that group, wasn't he?
He was in True Lies, wasn't he? He played that suave wannabe car salesman who pretended to be a spy.
He was brilliant in that. I think that's one of his best parts.
Bill Paxton, I've not seen him in anything where he's been rubbish, to be fair.
I don't want to get sidetracked again. I'll shut up.
You're going to mention After Dark?
No, I was going to mention Aliens because he was so unhappy with his performance in Aliens. He thought that he was so shit that he had a
No.
mental breakdown.
No, he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was, but he didn't think he was, though.
Isn't he the only actor to be killed on screen by Terminator, Alien, and a Predator?
He is indeed.
I think there's more now. Didn't
Nah,
Michael
they're
Biehn get
all
it a couple of
wannabes.
days ago in that Predator cartoon? Michael Biehn got killed by a Predator, didn't he? So,
Oh.
but he didn't
Well,
get killed on screen, I suppose.
Did he?
No, he didn't get killed on screen by an alien.
He got killed by a beam, though, and bad story writing in Alien 3. So anyway, this is the office of Quarto. It was a bit of a dual character. He's two men in one skin, but we'll find out more about that in a second. To say this is 2084, look at that laptop. That screams 1988.
It does.
Look at that CD-ROM. Crikey.
You know,
Love it.
when he signed up for this role, he thought his lines, he didn't have many, but he didn't realise at the time when he got the script that he was playing both characters.
I hope
And
they paid him twice. Bella
this...
Ramsey, look. Bella Ramsey.
Bella Ramsey. Oh, like I said to Drinker, Bella Ramsey or Gordon Ramsay, if somebody's holding a gun to your head, you've got to shag one. Who gets it?
Gordon.
Yeah, even Drinker said that. Mauler refused to answer the question.
You just got to put it like the gun is also an option. You don't have to take Gordon either. The gun is an option.
Can anybody name the song that came out of this scene? It was big in 1992. It charted
Open
very
Your
highly.
Mind.
By?
I know this. I've got
Open Your
I've got it on my iPhone.
I know the song. Used to play it all the time. Couldn't tell you who's sung it.
Usura.
I still couldn't tell you.
It's Usura. Open Your Mind. Italian guy who did the song to that. And it samples Simple Minds.
Num. Look, comment.
What's that? Hill versus Babyface. Is that the one?
No, that's Az, the YouTuber. He's referring to Quato, what he looks like.
Oh, yeah. So anyway...
Pronouns!
Yeah. So Quarto is like, I don't know, conjoined fetus? Who's psychic?
Yeah, I would say conjoined twin.
I would say he's
Yeah.
a giant talking nipple.
I'd say I wouldn't want to wake up next to that. I'd be fucking disturbed if I did. This is odd. Keep getting flashbacks of other scenes. So anyway, there's obviously a tracker. Somebody's got a tracker. Who could it be? But anyway, the Martian forces break into the resistance and start offing people like it's going out of fashion. And Quaid's like, come on, wake up. And then, the Quarto bloke, he gets taken out in an airlock.
Do you know how many people were working Quarto?
No, go on.
There were 15 puppeteers working that animatronic.
Really?
Yes,
Night,
yeah.
Franco. Franco's off to bed, guys. He's got to get up early in the morning. Night, Franco. Thank you,
Night,
mate.
Franco.
Couldn't have took 15 for that, surely.
How? Why would you need 15 people to operate that?
I've no idea.
There were fair enough. The ABC warrior from Stallone's Judge Dredd, I can understand why there were 15 people operating that.
I suppose back in 1990, all of this was pretty much new tech.
Because it's technically an animatronic, isn't it? So...
I can just imagine about a dozen guys standing behind Arnold, all with remote controls, trying to get the thing to work properly.
I think they only had about 4 guys doing Jabba the Hutt, didn't they?
Really?
Yeah.
That just sounded so wrong, Melv.
Packed inside the costume.
It's after 9 o'clock, though.
Yeah. Hey, if you fancy co-firing us, you're more than welcome to. Any donations of any variety for Pot Knackers gets you an executive producer credit at the end of the next show. But it turns out Benny's a bit of an arsehole. He's a double agent. He's pretended to be nice and be a part of the posse, but he kills Quarto because he's got 4 kids to feed.
There we go. The rodent in the chat has nailed it. The reason.
Ah, right. There we go. I'm going to put that on the screen. This is good info. Rodent says Marshall Bell was also a prosthetic puppet for Quarto. They had to puppet the Marshall Bell puppet as well. Yeah, I can see that now.
Good point.
Oh, Sword in the Storm. Really, sir? He's come out with a cracker. How many worked Rachel to got him? Oh, my goodness.
You see that Benny there?
Mel Johnson Jr.
He would have annoyed me to death. It's like, see, if I walk out at an airport and somebody comes up and starts talking like that, it's like, go away. I'll get the next taxi. You're too annoying.
It'd
Don't
be
want
a
you.
big dose of chuff off, wouldn't it?
I went to Gambia once when, for my
Oh.
honeymoon back in 1999, and outside of our hotel there was a row of taxis, and this one guy came up. He just out of the blue, he just came up to us and went, "I'm your taxi now." and we were like, "Okay, where are we going?" "Oh, we were going to Weezo's." "I'll get you there right now. I am the director of Pang." And
Nice.
that was his name, the director of Pang, and he drove us everywhere for 2 weeks and he was just like Benny, only not to murder us. He probably did have 5 kids to feed as well.
15.
I found that in places where I've went on holiday. They just do things in a different way. You go to a hotel and then one driver will designate yourself to you and none of the other drivers will take you anywhere. It has to be him. I think it just
Thank you
depends
to
on
Vex,
who sees you first
who's,
and they go dibs.
Thank you, Vex, for the super chat, $2 Canadian. Donations for knickers.
Has she donated her own?
I don't know. I hope they're clean. Have you got any skidders in them, my love?
Oh, dear.
Fine with show, Trevor. Fine with show.
Yeah, but it's after the watershed. That's how I get around it, you see. If you're watching this on the re-rub, make sure it's after 9.
Yeah, you're not allowed to watch it before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, especially if there's children about. So Benny's a double agent, and Cohagen says, "So this is the great man." Oh dear, I bet he stinks. Because I mean, Quarto's going to be full of belly cheese, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, but think about it. Disgusting. You smell like gorgonzola. Thank you, Vex. I hope those knickers are squeaky clean. So anyway, Cohagen says, got a message for you. Who is it this time, my mother? And it's him as Hauser and the best mates. Look, they're having a laugh about it.
You missed the part where he opened up the shirt there and looks at Quato and says, "Hell, he's gay, by the way." It's after 9. We're okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there was another blooper in the when he took care of Benny as well, because when he goes through the pipe with all the hydraulic liquid, it sprays all over his face, and in the next scene, it's gone.
Interesting fact. Menemenev says, did the director of Pang have a mutated arm too?
No, he was quite clinically insane and drove like a maniac, but he got us to where he wanted to go at the price we wanted to pay.
Tomby's in the chat. Hail, Tomby. Thank you for joining us tonight, buddy. It's nice to have you here.
Hello,
Menemenev says,
Tomby.
what is belly cheese for us
Howdy.
non-fatties, please? Fuck off, you cheeky bastard. I don't know. I don't get belly button cheese. I'm losing weight.
Belly button cheese.
Yes.
You get the belly button, like fluff. You can knit a cardigan out of it.
You know what, Cohagen? That's the best mindfuck ever. Some great dialogue in this movie. So anyway, Cohagen has Melina and Quaid chucked into like a turbo-boosted version of the memory seats from Recall. I don't know what's different about these. These look a bit more serious and painful. You know, the flashing red lights.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't slide inside this one either, like the other one.
Yeah, maybe I didn't notice that. So anyway, he gets a call. Oh, the oxygen levels in Sector G are bottoming out. What do you want us to do about it, sir? Nothing. Fuck them. It'll be a lesson to the others.
No, at that point, you go, send in your fattest agent and make him fat.
I actually watched this with the subtitles on for the first time. And there's a lot of stuff that I had wrong in my head. I'm starting to become a big fan of subtitles. And it's not because I'm losing my hearing at all or losing any range. It's just the fact that sometimes you have to wonder what Arnold Schwarzenegger's actually saying.
Do you know
Yes,
what I
it's
find?
nice to have it on English.
I mean, it's like Commando. When there was a line in that when I'd been getting it wrong for years, and they're like, when Brackenworth came to East Germany, the communists said it was subversive. Maybe they were right, but the actual line is, when rock and roll came to East Germany, the communists said it was subversive. I don't know what Brackenworths were. I thought it was some kind of fucking sausage, to be fair.
Sounds like it, eh?
It does sound like sausage.
Sounds tasty.
Annie's sausage went to East Germany.
Here's why I use subtitles, and this is the problem with modern films that wasn't a problem back in the VHS days, right? It's because when people are talking, you can't hear what they're saying, and when the shooting starts, when the action starts, it's deafening. You get deafened, when there's a shooting scene in a cop film or something. But then when it stops and they start talking, you can't hear what they're saying because it's too quiet.
Yeah,
So
the
what I do is
5.1 mixers are terrible
Yeah.
when you go down to 2-channel stereo.
I'll have the volume lower than it needs to be, but I'll have the subtitles on, so at least then I know what they're saying.
I know a film where the subtitles are mandatory, but the sound down low. Interstellar. Whoever makes the audio for that film needs shooting.
I find it's really common, like way too common, way more common than it should be.
Maybe they're more interested in 7.1 mixes as opposed to 2-track mixes.
They must be aware of the problem, surely.
Atom Gray says the dynamic range is terrible now. Yeah, it is. So anyway, Sector G's screwed. Doug starts getting a free lobotomy, and so does Melina. And the guy says, stop fighting it. It only makes it worse. And this guy gets a pain in the neck quite literally. And Arnie Quaid, he helps Melina out and he goes, are you? I don't know, dear. Because she's going to be made to be compliant, like every good woman should be. There's no sexism at all in the future, especially on Mars. So these two guys come out the lift. Melina gives the guy on the left a free vasectomy. Oh dear. Other guy, he gets a clothesline.
Oof.
It sucks to be the guy on the left. So Arnie and Melina go down in the lift, and then Richter informs Cohagen what's happened. He says, you're going to have to make a decision. And he says, kill him. And then Richter, cocks his gun and says, it's about goddamn time. He really, like you said, Z, he really has got it in for
really
Quaid,
bloody hates him.
doesn't he?
And then Cohagen kills some goldfish, which made me sad.
Rotten bastard.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that. What was the deal there? Killing the goldfish.
I don't know, but I think Kim Wilde's going to go around and beat the shit out of him. She's big on animal activism.
I suppose you've got to demonstrate how evil he is.
Yeah, that you could take it out on goldfish. What a hard guy.
He should have had like a little kind of bucket of kittens or something, and every time
No.
something happens, he takes one out and shoots it.
No. You can't be mean to animals. Whether it's, implied but not shown or it's a prosthetic, I don't think that kind of thing should be portrayed in films like that. Sometimes I know it's necessary, but...
the fish, the fish had hopes and dreams as well, and now they're all dead.
I'm not codding, that was just so mean. Look at that woman on the bottom left of that slide. I didn't notice her before. What the fuck's going on there? That's not lack of oxygen. But that lady in the green next to her, she's got nice top bollocks and a cracking set of pins.
No comment. I wouldn't judge until I get to see the rest.
So anyway, come on, we have to get to the reactor. What reactor? Aliens build it.
Aliens built it.
I do it far better live than I do trying to record it. We'd got some decorators. We've got the decorators in at the moment who wear misses. And it was hard doing that. The amount of takes I had to do because bump, 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 bump. Obviously, I'm under the stairs. So these guys trudging up and down, painting the stairs. That was fun.
God, I jumped the gun on my Benny trivia.
Go on.
No, this is where he kills him and does the hydraulic line.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this is supposed to be the route to the reactor. There's a reactor that we've seen briefly in the Quarto memory extraction flashback. and it's basically the core of Mars is one big block of air. Just for argument's sake, let's not get too Brian Cox about it. But it's all the air on Mars was sucked in through the top of the pyramid mine and condensed and frozen into the core of Mars. And all that turbinium, which is a bit of a mouthful to say, that was like the center of Mars, the original molten core. That's why it has no molten core, because they turned the molten core into the machine, the reactor.
I googled turbinium. It's not a real thing.
No, it's not. It's a fictitious element.
So, yeah. So that goes towards it being a dream.
Yeah,
then.
pretty much. So anyway, Benny's inside that Martian tunnel digger, the boring machine. I'm gonna grind you up, baby. And Quaid starts shooting, and Melina does, and it's like, oh, that's good. It's like taking the mick, and Quaid gets this mini drill thing, and he's like, screw you. And Benny gets it. Bye bye, Benny. That's your shenanigans done
It's
with.
quite convenient. He knows how to use one of them. He was using one at the start.
Interesting.
Well, I'm guessing he's a construction worker, so he probably knows how to use those sort of tools.
I wonder. So anyway, this is the shot of the reactor. Those great big pillars are just basically giant heating rods, and obviously they're going to go down into that frozen atmosphere and unmelt it all.
There were also, when he went into recall and he went down in a chair, that came up on one of the screens behind him.
Yes,
well,
it
in front
did.
of him, behind the
It
doctor.
did. Alien artifacts. And it's funny, Melina came
so-
up on the screen on the selection 23A. He's going to have a fantastic time. He's not going to want to come back, said Ernie. And he pretty much didn't, did he? So that's quite an impressive match shot. So Quaid walks into the reactor, one of the pillars of the reactor, and all the Northern Bloc Martian guards are in there, start shooting. How there was not any friendly fucking from Crossfire in this scene is totally beyond me. Because they're all shooting at each other, essentially.
I mean, you get a Crossfire scene a couple of clips later, but by rights, half of these people should be dead.
Yeah, it's just a plot device, isn't it? At this point. So anyway, they're all taking pot shots. Richter, look at that. He's got. This is the second time he's happy. The first one was in a scene that wasn't shown in the slides, where Richter punches Quaid in the face. He says, "Are you going to remember any of this, Doc?" No. Douche, cracks him one. But Richter's got genuine look of glee. This is beyond joyful. Just look at him. And they're all looking at the guns and stuff, like, Are we firing blanks here? A bit like that bloke next door, but one to me. And it turns out it's a Quaid hologram. He starts laughing and walks away. And then Quaid and Melina walk in and start dispatching all these soldiers.
So why couldn't they hear him laughing from the other direction?
Yeah, why did his voice sound like it was close and then not distant?
Probably deaf from all the gunfire.
I mean, fair enough, there's some shady science, but it's science fiction, and it's all good fun, really. So anyway...
There's a lot of things. You just got to take on faith in sci-fi films. You can't go over-analysing every single part of it. I mean, any film you see where they've got gravity on a spaceship, it's like, well, you know that's not real.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not a thing. Or you see the one when they got to the space station and the space station spins, and the idea is that creates gravity. I mean, how stupid is that? But you just got to take a leap of faith. Take a leap of faith that what they're showing you is just how it is in that particular place and time. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy the film.
The only science fiction film that's correctly depicted gravity in any shape, way, or form, and they did the homework, they got it 100% spot on, and that was The Expanse. The one and only show what's scientifically accurate.
And how did they do it in The Expanse? I think I watched the first 2.5 seasons. And
they used inertia to create gravity. The ships were traveling at such a speed it could generate the effect of 1G. Well, it was 1 point something G. And that's how they did it.
I'm not sure about that. Because you need mass. You need mass, and if they don't have the mass, they're not going to have the gravity.
Inertia. You can do it inertially based. Anyway, well, no, I'm not going to get into an argument with you. It's just a film, Melv. It's a film.
We're overthinking
So anyway,
it.
we missed a slide out, unfortunately. But there's a really good bit where Quaid stood there sideways to some guys and goes, "You think this is the real Quaid? It is."
It is.
And he starts shooting everybody, which is great. And then Richter tries to make a run for it, and Quaid jumps him. And we end up on this lift or elevator for our colonial cousins in the colonies. So, yeah, it's an immense fight scene. There's some real gritty in this. I mean, Michael Ironside, he's delivering it like he really means it.
You're coming with me.
And then they're just about to go into the upper pylon of the heating elements where the control center is. And Quaid pulls back just at the right time. But didn't Quaid break Richter's arm? How's he holding on?
You would hold on, broken arm or not.
Well,
wouldn't
in
you?
that instance, yeah. But unfortunately, it's not good news for Richter. I don't think he's going to be at that party, do you guys?
No.
Did you feel bad for him here?
Mostly
little bit.
harmless.
You could tell they're like Dick Jones's fake arms, can't you? Dick Jones and them fake arms.
I would hope they didn't use his real arms.
Anyway, it's bad news for Richter. Richter's
See you at the
had the
party,
chop.
Richter.
See you at the party, Richter. And then the lift goes up to the control center, and there's like a weird alien hand what activates it. And Cohagen's there. Get away, get away! He's crapping himself. If he loses control of the air on Mars, he's screwed. You know? He won't be the happiest man in the solar system.
Not at all, because he's actually using the elements in the heating blocks to sell. So this is his source of income. He activates this, it's all over. But I never thought, why don't you just activate it and then mine them?
Oh, Sword in the Storm's just given me an idea here where they could have used a line of dialogue from RoboCop to Richter. Well, give the man a hand. But that's just me.
He's harmless enough.
Yeah, Swapper said it made him laugh and wince all at the same time when Richter lost his arms. Oh, well. So there's a great bit here where Cohagen is like, you had to be Quaid. No, I wanted Hauser, but no, you had to be Quaid. Now I'm going to blow this place and be back in home in time for cornflakes, which I thought was a great piece of dialogue. So you think Quaid's number's up here. Richter...
He done the typical supervillain thing, which is talk too much instead of pulling the trigger.
But even though Hauser was his best mate, his total bum chum, that's it. He's had enough. He's going to kill him. But luckily, Melina comes to the rescue and shoots Cohagen not once, but a total of 3 times, which is quite interesting for what's coming up. So Cohagen still manages to press the detonator. And like any good bomb in any movie, right, it's on the timer. It's not instantaneous. So there's a bit of time. So Quaid picks it up. I mean, look at the font on that. I thought it said Durex, but it says Quadrex on it.
That's proper Letraset, isn't it?
That is proper Buck Rogers. That is straight off the Buck Rogers Annual, 1978.
It is. For such a small explosive, it sure gives off a lot of kinetic energy, doesn't it?
Well, Cohagen likes to get a good bang for his buck. So Arnie chucks it into this vent tube, for want of a better word, and it blows, and it exposes the control center to the vacuum of Mars. But Arnie manages to grab hold of this wire. And it doesn't half snap back. He must be a big lad. Because it goes, whoosh, it gives a proper Indiana Jones whipping style, doesn't it? So Melina manages to catch on to the other end of that light pole. And Arnie's had enough of Cohagen at this point. He's like, come on, do the Dick Jones arms thing. And he gets swatted away. And he goes out that vent hole. It's a really good scene how they did it.
It is,
but obviously,
when you see him land, you can definitely tell it's his stunt double.
Oh, yeah. It's...
not here, when he actually hits and starts rolling.
Dickie Knob, that's his stunt double's name.
Sticky what?
Dickie Knob. Not Ronnie Cox, it's Dickie Knob. I'm just being a twat, don't mind me. So anyway, there's obviously it's just carbon dioxide on Mars. So Cohagen starts asphyxiating, but does it in a way where it's the pressure's so low on Mars, it's basically half vacuuming him. It's doing his eyes and his blood and everything. This is quite good. Rob Bottin earned his dinner money on this one.
He most certainly did.
When you see like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Rachel Ticotin when they swell up and their eyes are popping out and things like that, at that point it's too
Yeah,
late for
they're
them,
dead.
right? That's
There's no going back.
You know, that's hemorrhage all
Yeah.
over the place. There was no coming back from that. That was
Definitely.
game over.
Well, Arnie's big and strong and tough, and he's got enough go in him to try and activate this reactor. But look at his fingers there. Compare them to the ones that were on the head. You know, the AI head that blew up. Not even the same fingers. Not even remotely the same
that looked
person.
like it looked like old woman hands.
It definitely looked like a woman's hand, yeah. But Arnie's got big, beefy digits. All the better the finger you're with in a crime scene. So he does this thing, and it turns on the reactor. And it's got the Predator sound effect. Now when the Predator's scanning a target, it's the same sound effect, and I love it. So the reactor turns on, and Melina and Quaid get sucked off into the atmosphere of Mars, or lack of. And these heating rods start going into the glacier of oxygen and other various elements. And it looks like they're on a vinegar stroke, the pair of them, doesn't it?
Those heating elements looked like Lucozade.
They did, didn't they? Proper Lucozade, the one you used to get in a bottle in hospital.
Daley Thompson. Yeah, Daley Thompson had.
Yeah, I think Daley Thompson had steroids, but that's a different story. So anyway, they start asphyxiating. But all this oxygen starts evaporating and breaking out. Sword in the storm, I see what you did there. It starts breaking out of the mountain. The pressure's that much, it's just bursting out of the pyramid mine. And everybody's sat eating the dinner. Nobody cares. And, you know, things start rattling, and then people take notice, and it's like, ooh, which I thought was quite good. And luckily for the people of Venusville, this is the thing. The oxygen was low, but the barometric pressure was would have been there or thereabouts. Now, the opposing force of that, mixed with the already present atmosphere of Mars, wouldn't have done these people any good. It would have inflated the lungs. You know, because the pressure of the oxygen would have been that great, it would have basically popped everybody's lungs.
Yeah, it's like if you're diving in really deep water, if you come up
get
too
the
fast,
bends.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you're saying they're all benders, are you, Trev?
Depressurize.
Pretty much. It is Venusville, and anything goes. All the hoes are pros. Any hole's a goal.
The good ones.
Even a nose.
Distinct lack of male prostitutes on Mars. I'm quite disappointed.
I'm not. Midget hookers, I'm all for. So anyway, this is what's left of the Pyramid Mountain. It turns.
You can tell this guy's Dutch, right?
There's a lot of it's very Amsterdam, but the other side of that bridge near the museum. Not that I know. Anybody in the chat been to Amsterdam? For sure. It's totally crazy, isn't that weird?
I love Amsterdam.
Yes. Would you like a crepe and a pipe? A bleach and a blonde?
There's a great adult shop opposite the Grasshopper just before you get into the red light district. I recommend you visit.
Is that the end where there's like them really good coffee shops?
Yes.
You come to the end and then you come to that like thing at the other end where the canal is. And then you've got the bridge.
Yes.
It's there, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It is. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I know exactly where you are.
You know this because you've seen it in a documentary.
Who did?
You did. That's how you know, because you would never go to a place
being
like
a decent family man.
I am now, but in my younger years, anything went, apart from the backdoor action, of course. Totally contrary to science, the oxygen atmosphere of Mars completely restores these guys. But their eyes would have been red raw, like you said, Melv. There'd been so much superficial hemorrhaging that there'd been no coming back whatsoever from this at all.
Yeah. Well, that's what you've seen on the outside. Imagine what it was like on the inside. The brain would have swelled up and got crushed inside the skull, right?
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, a few chats here. Paul Dickinson says, the pretty girls in the windows. Like Paul Verhoeven. He's got a great Dutch accent. MC says, not Amsterdam, but Utrecht. That's nice. I went to The Hague. It was nice.
War crimes.
No, I didn't really go there for that, to be fair. I went to a cheese factory. A tour of a cheese factory.
Is that another name for a bro?
Well, tour of a cheese factory whilst being battered. What do you do in that situation? You go around the cheese factory. My eyes look like Quaid and Molina's at one point. Pretty red. Gavin Blackburn says, I went with my Faja. Okie dokie.
As you do.
Oh, Atom Gray says, Amsterdam is the biggest urinal in Europe, I believe. It's not
Apologise. You've never been to Glasgow.
Oh, God. Govan, where? Hey, it's not all bad in Glasgow. There's a road out.
It mostly is.
You'd always go to Motherwell. It's a lot better there. Or Hamilton.
Motherwell. I told you my sister lives in
Yeah,
Blackfire.
you did. You did. Yeah, I remember visiting my relatives. Got a nice view of Ravenscraig.
What used to be Ravenscraig.
My Auntie Phyllis, from her back door, you could see the actual steel plant. It was massive.
It was, probably, yeah. We'll get sidetracked again. We can come back to that one.
Let's move on anyway. Ash and Prison.
These mutants here were a lot like, and this is a subject that comes up a lot, like Strontium Dog, like the mutants in Strontium Dog, or some of them.
I like that. Have you seen that fan film on YouTube?
I most certainly have. Search and Destroy.
It's pretty good. Apart from his helmet looked a bit papier-mâché. But it was still good, though. And I like the Judge... Oh, God, what's it called?
Judgmenty.
That's it, Judgmenty. That's good as well.
2 fantastic fan films. I recommend anybody in the chat watches them.
And some of that was filmed locally.
Did you see the Rogue Trooper one?
Some of that was filmed locally around these neck of the woods. Some bits in Sheffield, some bits at Magna in Rotherham, which is like the Science Museum. Anyway, look at Dean Norris. Looks different there, doesn't he? He also appeared in another Paul Verhoeven film. He was in Starship Troopers. He was the commandant of the fort. Was it Fort Cronkite? Or was that the other one? So anyway, he's Tony in this. And if you don't know who Dean Norris is, it's Walter White's brother-in-law. Hank Schrader. Debbie Lee Carrington looks gorgeous. Gosh. There's just something about a midget hooker. Sadly, she passed away not so long ago either. Everybody gets a good view of the new Mars. It's free. Quaid's fulfilled Quarto's prophecy. Blue sky on Mars. As somebody rightly said in the chat earlier, blue sky on Mars. That's a new one. Ernie quotes that in the early scenes in Recall, which goes to make you ponder, is it live or is it Memorex? Is it just a memory, put into his... Oh, Fart Maru. Thank you for that. You could have just told me, Z.
You were talking. It's rude.
It's all right. I'm used to people trying to talk over me on this channel. Everybody does it every now and again, but, it's how it goes sometimes. So everybody's...
Sometimes it's the only way.
Sorry, Mal. I like to be focused. But end of the film, Arnie says, "I've got a terrible thought. Maybe this is all a dream." And she goes, "Well, you better kiss me before it's too late." Oh, another $2 New Zealand from RRTNZ, who says, "So it was all a dream after all." I say yes. Me too.
Yeah, leaning towards it.
I
don't know though. I don't know
so.
because I gave him a reason the other day, right? But I'll bring this up again. That Quaid is an Irish name, and Hauser is a German name, and the guy's got a strong Austrian accent.
I didn't argue with you, and like I say, Verhoeven says it's open to interpretation. You can take away from that film whatever you want.
I think the whole thing from start, as I said earlier, was for a dream from the beginning.
Mm.
Mostly because of the stuff that comes up on the screen in Recall, the blue sky on Mars, and also the movie ends. It fades to black and then to white, which
Like
indicates
you're waking up.
you're waking up. Yeah.
Yeah, you've completed that. What did they call it? Ego trip.
Yeah, I
You've
think so.
completed the ego trip, and now you're out of it. That's the end of the story. You wake up. Oh,
I would agree with Z in that if it is a dream, then it's probably from the start and not just from the
definitely.
trip to Recall, but from
But
the
did
beginning of the
anybody
movie.
notice the Matrix ripped off Total Recall a little bit with the red pill when Dr. Edgemar tries to convince Doug it's a schizoid embolism?
Mm-hmm.
But that was from Alice in Wonderland anyway.
There's a lot of references to White Rabbits, isn't there? The song by Jefferson Starship.
And they had the Matrix, they had the girl with the tattoo of
the girl who was in Home and Away.
No, she was in Heartbreak High. That was, I can't remember her name. Ada Nicodemu. There you go.
Yeah.
She used to be in Heartbreak High. I don't know. She may have been in Home and Away after that. I don't know. Never watched Home and Away.
Rodent says in the chat, the Matrix ripped off a lot of stuff, and I agree with that assessment. The Matrix did indeed rip a lot of movies. Dark City, for one. You know, it plagiarized Dark City for England.
I think The Matrix is overrated. I think as one movie, as a standalone movie, it is fantastic, and it broke new ground.
Oh yeah, Bullet Time was sensational.
But you've seen the weaknesses in the story when they got to the sequels. It's like they just run out of things to say.
The only thing I wish hadn't happened when it came to the Matrix films, I wish Gloria Foster would have lived long enough to be the Oracle in Matrix Revolutions. That other lady just didn't cut it, and she got a speech impediment.
Oh, it kind of pulled me out of it when he came back because of the love of Beautiful Woman.
Well, yeah, I suppose.
It's a bit contrived. So I don't know. I love the Matrix film, but it's just that, oh, I love you, Neo.
Yeah.
Blech.
It's a bit too sappy, isn't it?
Yes.
And the fourth one,
there is no fourth film.
There is no fourth Matrix movie. There's 3 Matrix movies and the Animatrix animated series.
Yeah, true. I agree with that. I love the Animatrix. That is so underrated. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's like Star Trek films. There is no 5. Shatner just... that was a shit show.
Yeah. Emphasis on the shat there. Emphasis on shat.
I mean, I like 4. It has its merits, but if it had carried on in a similar vein of 2 and 3, because that storyline was just a 3 film story arc, but it's like everything about the production of 2 and 3 and the score, like I said before, all gelled, and then 4's like bump, but it's the same thing. No, I know, but it's totally different, and there are a few elements I didn't really. Like some of the CGI stuff, that didn't need to be in there, and some of the whale malarkey, that didn't need to be there. But I've got a plan. I'm like the Cylons. I've got a plan. December, we're going to do a Star Trek film every week. And I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, and 6. But it depends what people comment below on the re-rub, right? I want to know what Star Trek films... There's 4 weeks, right? So what Star Trek films? I say 2, 3, and 6. But that's just my opinion. And opinions are like arseholes everybody's got on.
I think that you've got to include 2, 3, and 4 because that is essentially a trilogy.
I may do 2, 3, 4, and 6. Well, that's what I said. 2, 3, 4, and 6.
4 is the one when they go to San Francisco.
And George Takei loved going there. San Francisco, I was bummed there.
I suppose technically that is a trilogy, isn't it? Because it's all one story. It's all...
But, different quality of visual effects. Nimoy's direction went off on a tangent severely. A lot of the CGI shots if you trimmed it down, there's a lot of fat to be trimmed off that film, I think. But then, like I say, that's just my opinion. Anyway,
Answer to RRTNZ there. No.
let me just nip back into the chat box. Oh, what's that? I don't know what RRTNZ's on about there. I haven't a clue what he's talking about.
Somebody you know was doing some Star Trek.
Really?
It was Star Trek 6, wasn't it? VI, not IV.
I'm sorry. I must have been to Recall because I am missing that particular memory engram. Z, final thoughts on Total Recall. Is it just a great movie, or is it one you can let go?
No, this is a superb movie. If I was left on a desert island and I had 10 films to pick, I'd probably throw this in there. It's one I can watch over again and still enjoy it. I watched it yesterday in preparation for the stream. Didn't take my eyes off it for 1 second.
I was the same. I got the super duper 4K version, and that is sublime. That is not upscaled. I think they've gone back and just redone all the prints.
Yeah. Comparatively, I watched The Thunderbolts yesterday. When I say I watched it, I was on my phone for most of it. Whereas this one, Total Recall, didn't pick it up once. Wasn't distracted, just sat down, watched it again, and at the end of it, I thought, that was brilliant. I can see where the money went.
This is from a totally different era of cinema.
Yes, when movies are made to entertain people.
Yeah, when going to the pictures was an event, not a reason to get a second mortgage.
Yeah, indeed. I have one of those Meta Quests VR thing, and you can download an app. It's called Skybox. You got to pay for it. I think it costs about £7 or something. And it's a cinema app, and it gives you a VR cinema. So you're sitting inside the cinema. You're sitting on a chair. You can look left and right. You can see all the other seats, and you can adjust the size of the screen and what have you. And it's not the most amazing picture you're ever going to see, but I somehow discovered a 4K Total Recall on a boat in the Caribbean. And I put that on the Meta Quest and I watched it in that. So basically, I just sat in the cinema and watched it again.
Nice.
And
just a quickie, Sword in the Storm says, at me, before you go, has the panel seen the Running Man trailer? We have. I have. Somebody very kindly sent us a link to that. Thanks, Melv. What do you think?
Was it me? It wasn't me, was it? Was it Brian or Z?
Was it you, Z?
Well, I think I posted it in chat, yeah. But I wasn't impressed. It looked okay, but it just didn't have the campness of the original.
or fat men in spandex.
Yeah.
I'm too hard to please. I don't like that Glenn fellow. I don't like his chin, and I don't like the idea that they're trying to make him relevant.
Do you know what he reminds me of? Do you remember the character John Shepard from Stargate Atlantis?
Yes.
He reminds me of him. Like a dollar store version of Joe Flanagan. I mean, horses for courses, some people might think he's great, but I thought he was shit in Twisters.
I didn't even watch it because I heard
bad.
Shit.
You know how sometimes there's no need for a sequel? That is a perfect example of there's no need for a sequel.
They'll probably try for one.
Yeah.
Or attempt to remake it again in another 15 years.
It's not like the first Twisters movie was a massive hit or anything. It wasn't really that well received back in the day.
I loved it. I went to Cineworld at Sheffield at Crystal Peaks to see that back in the day, and I thought it was bloody awesome. In fact, I went back 2 nights later. I saw it on the Friday, and I went back on the Sunday to watch it again. It was that good.
I watched it because Bill Paxton was in it, and I never thought it was amazing, but I liked the bit with the flying cow because it was a very Wizard of Oz.
An early Philip Seymour Hoffman in it too.
Yeah, that was round about the time of Scent of a Woman, wasn't it?
And I love the scene where they go to Aunt Meg's, and it's like, "Where's your cow, Meg?" And they're all eating steak. Do you see me cow? And then the scene with the gravy, apparently it's its own food group. I'm going to say, let's go on quickly, Melv.
So I wasn't amazed with the first Twisters movie, but I did enjoy it.
Oh,
it was
it's
enjoyable.
fun. If there's nothing else on telly or nothing else to watch, that is a great Sunday afternoon movie for me. That and the original Willy Wonka.
It's one of those films that if it's on and somebody else is watching it, I would sit
And
down
I'm
and watch
still totally
But-
blown away about Grandpa Joe having a coat nail, same as Carrie Fisher's. Have you
No
seen
wonder
that
they lived in a
picture?
Are
crappy
you
old
on-
house.
Oh, Manum's
And-
come out with a corker there. Yes, I agree with you there, especially on Fridays with all the little boy racers. Says Crystal Pete's was a bit of a hole, that and Meadowall. Yeah, it was all right at a push. There was nowhere else to go, to be fair. Right, quickly, just before we go, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. I want to say thank you to Destron Solar, also RRTNZ, and Vex, our own Vex, with a Nicker donation for the super chats. Thank you, Z, for being my first member.
Oh, I love being your member, Trev.
What does the member want? The member rubs it on its skin, else it gets the hose.
Mm.
Remember?
I remember.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Member berries. No? Okay then.
Remember real
Right.
stormtroopers?
I want to thank you, Z, for joining us. I know
You're
you
very
forgot.
welcome.
You were
Sorry,
late.
I was a bit late, yes.
You will get detention after school. I'm sorry. It has to be done. It's mandatory. So thank you, Z. I'll put you back in the green room for a moment. Melv, as always, thank you. You are a font of knowledge.
I'm fond of many things.
Thank you for joining us. It is much appreciated, my friend.
No
Take care,
worries.
and I'll see you in the chat in a mo. And I'm going to disappear in just a second, but I'm going to give you a taste of what's happening next week. Next week, we go back to the 80s with a very early adopter of CGI. It's fun, it's fast, and it's action-paced. We'll look at the last Starfighter next week.